Welcome to Conversations in Between the Realms, a podcast where the mystical meets the everyday. Join Amanda Nova and Beth Renov each week as we dive into the profound journey of awakening, sharing our experiences, insights, and the lessons that guide us toward our divine purpose. Together, we awaken and guide our souls and others, exploring the magic of living in the 3D while staying connected to the higher realms, embracing the challenges, and celebrating the growth. You've been guided here for a reason. Trust in the journey and let the unfolding begin.
Hello, and welcome back to Conversations in Between the Realms. I'm Amanda Nova, and I'm here with Beth Renov, and this is our last podcast of the year. I can't believe it. It's insane. So we are just wrapping up and, putting a bow on this year. So how are you doing over there, Beth?
I'm good. I honestly can't believe it's the end of the year.
I know.
It feels like wild. I feel like it was summer yesterday and we have like a foot of snow already.
I know. It's so scary. And it's actually warm today, which is also really crazy. Like, I feel like it's like I have my window wide open. What a world. What a world.
I know. Oh, what was I just going to say? It like flew out of my head. I don't know. Well, I'm sure it'll come back.
This year, I feel like, we talked a little bit about this last time, but this year has really been such a massive shedding on such a collective level. Like, I feel like it's been such a release and so much transformation has happened. And it makes me really excited for next year, for like 26, because I feel like that's like really the year where people are going to be like stepping into their like next phase, right? Like we're ending a 9-year, we're going into a 1, and that's really like the beginning of so many things. And I don't know, I'm feeling like this excitement starting to build up because I'm like, ending everything this year has been like really tough, but I feel like we learned so many things about ourselves, about our business. Like I feel like we've really changed a lot.
We have. And just like my perception of time is so different. That's actually what I was going to say is like, it's felt like 10 years, but it's also felt like a minute.
Yeah.
And time lately, I forget when we were talking about it, where it's like all of a sudden time escapes you. I feel like that's been happening so much where like you look at the clock and all of a sudden it's been like 5 hours. You're like, where has the time gone? That's so weird. And I feel like that was a big thing this year of what I noticed is like, time is not what we think it is.
Right.
And that's been like kind of like a like mind-blowing experience.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we are consistently changing timelines. We're jumping in between them all the time. Like, that's why we have deja vu. It's like why, things can feel different at different times. And I always tell people like too, like when that happens, like you're in your flow state, right? Like that's like when you're in flow, when you're like really like getting, your downloads, you're like fully connected and you're doing something that's like turning like the rest of the world away, right? Like it's tuning everything out. And so, I mean, yeah, being able to tune into that, I think is also tuning into like your true self, tuning into source and just showing how much more connected to that you've been than maybe in the past.
Yeah. And I think it is because of the shedding, not that I didn't like notice it in years past, but I feel it. And I think that's what's different is there's such a shedding of clutter, I guess you would call it, that like blocked me from being able to see things real and feel things really, really clearly. And that's been kind of like a wild experience.
Yeah, I feel like there's been so much clarity. I think like really coming through, like I do feel like, yes, there has been like a lot of fog clearing, a lot of like cloud clearing. And then I do feel like right now, at least in like maybe the last couple of weeks as we're kind of closing out the year, like I do feel like there's these like moments of extreme clarity that are kind of like coming at the tail end of everything. I mean, you and I were having a conversation yesterday and like something came through that we literally were like, how did we miss this? Like, how did we not figure this out? And, that's kind of like what this past week and just like, I think the end of the year is going to feel like. It's like all this clarity of like, I've been working towards this all year. I've been working towards this for the last 10 years. I've been working to, and then all of a sudden things are coming through and things are happening, or all of a sudden I know my direction. All of a sudden I know what I want. Like all of a sudden these things are coming through. And that feels like that's going to be like the theme going into 26.
Right. And it brings me back to our episode about puzzles. Because we were making fun of How I Met Your Mother with the bar.
Deep cut.
But we talked
deep
about
cut joke.
Yes. But I think really that's so dead on is like the puzzle pieces, and how all of a sudden, and a year is such a good way to look at it, because it's like, what were we talking about but didn't have that piece of the puzzle, and now it just like fits so perfectly together, and you're like, oh my God. But it was such divine timing of why it came in then.
Yeah.
And it was so like validating and satisfying that it did come. It's like, how did we miss this? But also like, I understand why we did. And I don't know that we missed it, and as much as like it shouldn't have come in until now.
Right. I mean, yes, I think pure divine timing. Like, it's like picking up these pieces, these clues, like we've talked about this before, right? Like of these puzzle pieces, like picking them up, channeling little bits and pieces. And we get so frustrated. I get so frustrated because I want to see the whole picture. Like, I'm like, show me where I'm going. Like, I want the whole thing. I don't want, to go step by step and have things like slowly reveal. I want, tell me where I'm going. And that's just not how things work. So I've been getting these like little clues, and you and I have been deciphering them. I feel like even a couple of weeks ago we were talking and you were like, I just feel like there's like something that's missing. Like there's just there's something that we're missing, and it's the key. And I do feel like that is what came through yesterday, because I feel like that locked everything in. And I feel like, I don't know, it was unbelievable, because it's been a year of trying to figure out like why am I having downloads about Egyptians? Like, why am I having downloads about pyramids? Why am I having downloads about the Book of the Dead? Why am I having downloads about Hathor? Like, why is Hathor coming to see you? Why are we getting these symbols? Like, why is Edgar Casey coming through so much? Like, why are these things repeatedly coming through, and slowly but surely? And we did put it down for a little bit, like we did put it down. Like we went through our Isis and Hathor phase a little bit. Yeah. And then we put it down for a little bit. And like for now it to come kind of like back around is just like crazy.
And I think like you do sometimes have to put things down and put it like, I'm going to store this. It's not meant for right this minute, but I know it's important. But it's like, unless you move on, you're going to miss it, because like, I think we discussed that before you had your seizure, before Josh Yoon came in. It wouldn't have made any sense had we found it then.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's just like, this is like, oh my God. And you're comfortable in everything you're doing now. Everything's in place. You didn't have Frequency RX. Like, you didn't have all your puzzle, like your pieces of the puzzle there yet. So it just like made sense that like, it wasn't meant to come in until like they will bring it to you. The universe will bring it to you when it's time.
Right. When you're ready for it. Yeah. And I think exactly, like if I hadn't been on the path that I'm on right now, like I don't think it would have made sense. And just to give everybody a little context, because I don't, care about revealing personal stuff, whatever. I feel like, I've been getting all these downloads, we've been getting a lot of stuff coming in about Egyptian stuff, like all this stuff coming in. Right. And I feel like I've been on a real journey to figure out how to really encapsulate what it is that I do. And I've been struggling with that for a long time. Like, we've had a million conversations about it, like really, really struggling with like, what is it exactly that I do? Like, it's not really Kundalini. Like it's, and even like I've learned like, Kundalini is from the root up, which I know it can run back and forth, but this other thing that I'll explain goes from the crown down. And that's actually how I work. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
But we were talking yesterday and we were trying to like work on some wording and work on some things. And you were like, Kundalini. And I was like,
No.
I'm working on Egyptian cosmology in the book, and like something feels like related to like the Ka. And then you found it, which
Yeah.
was a practice called Sekhem or Sekhem. And it's actually from the goddess Sekhmet. And it was founded by Edgar Casey. So we were like dying. And
Yeah.
it's a healing modality, an energy healing modality that encapsulates basically every single thing that I do. Like every single thing. And if you're in Frequency RX, then you really know, because it's like herbs, crystals, frequency, it's energy healing. It's like using the energy force of the body, like using the light, the sun, like the divine force to clear and to restore. And we were floored. Like we were like, how did we not see that this is what I've been doing this whole time?
Right. Because we were trying to like think like what is a word that encapsulates what you
Mhm.
do? And we were trying to flesh that out, and you're like, I wish there was a word for this. I'm like, let's see if there is one. And it's like it couldn't have been more dead on, and it reminds me of when I was looking for a house, and it was such a journey, and we started out like so far from where we ended up, like what we wanted. Like I kept saying out loud the things that I wanted, and we kept getting so disappointed and like almost getting things that weren't really what we wanted. And then this house popped up, and
Mhm.
it's exactly the thing. It's like I wish a house that like that had this,
Right.
that's near downtown, that you could walk to, that has a pool, that has a fire pit, that's a ranch in case like we want to stay forever, and it was like boom, it
Yeah.
popped up out of nowhere, and we're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Yeah. It's that
It was like a
manifestation.
very cool
Yeah.
experience.
And it's that
Right.
manifestation too of like, we're assuming to find anything, right? Like you were like, okay, we
Right.
wish we could find this, but like there's probably not,
Right.
right? Like anything. And that was like the
Right.
same thing. I was like feeling so frustrated because people have been coming recently and really liking their sessions. And I'm just like, I don't know what to call this. Like I've been playing with different things over the past couple of years, like quantum and kundalini and
Right.
like soul illumination. I've been playing with all these words, but nothing has really felt good to me. Like nothing has felt like really like aligned and cozy
Right.
and like yeah and right. And
Right.
this was really the first time like where I was like, oh my God, like this is what I'm doing. And even though it's something that's also like not very like well known, like you can look it up and see what it is, right? Like we were saying, like you can look it up and see what it is. Um the only thing I don't necessarily like is that people liken it to Reiki, and it's like not like Reiki. And I
No.
definitely don't do Reiki, so it's like not like that at all. But all of the ties to like the Egyptians, like it even goes back to like doing a session and having people like see Egyptian dancers while they're
Yes.
getting a session from me, and me being like, what is that? Like all of a sudden people are seeing like Egyptian
Yes.
dances. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it
I mean
makes
that, and
sense.
it's so funny because it is the thing that was the clearest vision I've like ever had, like when you did it on me, and it never goes
Yeah.
away. Like I could go back to that moment so easily. Like I remember every piece of it, and I think that's the like awakening,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Is that raw? Like what was it?
Yeah,
I forget what it's called.
Ka is
Or
your
Ka is
your
the
vital
awakening.
force, right? So like that's what it's like awakening. What I thought was so fascinating about it, and like in terms of what I do, like it is this like, opening and then flowing in of this like life
Mhm.
force energy, and then like, essentially like it's like energy from the sun, right? Energy from source coming in and then revitalizing your life force energy. And when I work on people, I am clearing, and I'm clearing most of the time from the head down. I kind of like see intuitively where I go, but then I'm bringing stuff from the crown out. Like I usually work that way. Sometimes I will weave in like the kundalini up, but like it's not just that. And I was like, I just wasn't feeling connected anymore to kundalini activation, because if you go get a kundalini activation, you come see me, like it's not going to be the same experience.
Night and day. And
I also love that you don't make us do like the breath of fire. Like, I hate that breathing. I don't know why, but I'm just like, I can't do it. And like, my body's like, even when you're like, I'm like, I can't keep up with your breath. You're like, oh, like, I think I'm just like.
Well, I realized that you said you couldn't keep up with my breath. And I realized that on Riverside, they cut out all of my pauses. So when I'm doing when I'm doing my activations now, I have to go back in and like restore all of my pauses because they think I'm just like being like slow and like having all these pauses, but I'm intentionally pausing. So they like cut them out. And I'm like, no, it's supposed to be like that. So I think that one that you were talking about, like, I think they cut out my pauses. So it was probably going faster than it was intended to go.
No, I can't do it as slow.
Oh, you can't do it as slow.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Like
can't hold
I just can't take that deep of a breath.
Well, that's something
What
you have to
happens to
work
my
on. You have to go deep into the belly. Yeah,
I
I know.
know.
It's
I
a
know.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it even when we don't do that, it whatever you do is like magic. It's crazy and it's crazy that other people had the exact same experience as me. I don't know them. And like, you can't make this
Yeah.
up. Like, why would we all see Egyptian dances? Like,
Right.
it's so random, right?
It doesn't make any sense. And like I think also just like being taken to these Egyptian places so often in my channeling and like there was so much stuff that came through about the Book of the Dead, like all those things that like were coming together. Like that was right the night of the seizure, right? Like all this stuff was coming together. So I do think it's all connected and intentional. And the whole thing about Edgar Casey is that Edgar Casey blended a lot of physical healing, a lot of clinical healing with the energy work, which is very much what I do and have really started to bring together, which I wasn't doing, 6 months ago, a year ago. I was always doing it, but I like kept it siloed. So I feel like, it's just interesting. And I just think, yeah, like closing out the year, like, having that come out, it's like, it gives me free range also to like rebrand in 26, which I just love. I love a rebrand, just some colors and
You love a good
rebrand. I'm like, okay, I'll just do a little logo change, some colors, and change the vibe.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, no, I love it. I feel like I need to figure out what to call myself too, but I know it'll come in like time.
I know we're struggling with your word
And
too,
yeah.
because like you also do so many things, and like we were saying, like medium, oracle. I feel like every time I think of you, I see the oracle at Delphi. I don't know why. I don't know if you're related to her or if you were her or if like she was channeling you. I don't know, but I literally get that image all the time when you talk about what you do. Do you know who that is?
We've talked about her before, but I don't know who she is. I'm gonna look her up.
She was like this woman that sat over, like she was sitting on this like thing, and I was apparently like over some sort of like smoke or like fumes or something, but they like used her to like tell them things. And yeah, and I
yes, this kind of sounds yes. Yeah, I get like, so she was in Greece. Okay, it's Greek. I will definitely go down that rabbit hole. That felt good when you said it.
Yeah, there's some connection there for sure.
Where the priestess Pythia. Oh, it says it's a sanctuary. Hang on. Yeah, the oracle's name is Pythia.
Oh. Yeah, I just have her image like in my head. Like whenever like we're talking about this stuff with you, like I like see her. So maybe she's like maybe she's the one who's going to bring that to you, but like there's some kind of relationship there that you have with her. I just think it's really interesting because there is so much more that you do than just mediumship, and there's also the integration piece of things, which I think is like really important too. And I think that also for like, closing out the year, I know I keep saying that, but like you really have also determined what this is this year, like what you are actually doing, and like taking
Yeah.
your gift and being like, what is this? What am I doing with this? And like, how does it
Right.
actually like look in a session? Like, I don't think this time last year you were doing what you're doing now, were you?
I think I was starting. I'd have to look like when I don't even think I had
The name.
a
I
website
think
or
you were still
anything.
doing
I think that came
cards.
like later. Not I think I used cards, but like as a
Yeah.
tool. Like I don't I was still relying on them some, like I don't use them at all now.
Yeah, they were like a crutch for
Um
you. You didn't really need them.
yes. Like remember when I was doing like full out just like card readings like
Yes, but you never
uh,
even like would use the
yeah.
card. Like I remember telling you, like, I'm like, you don't
Yeah.
need these. Like, it's such a crutch. Like, you are not like a tarot
Right.
reader. Like, you are just like
No.
have them there because you feel like it gives you like something, and then you could look at it. But it was like hindering you more than it was helping you.
Yeah, because like it actually blocked like what was supposed to come through. Because for me, I thought it was supposed to look a certain
Mm-hmm.
way, and I went to like great people. Like I started with Aurora. I worked with her initially, and like for me, like she gave me so many like basic things, and she's a good psychic. I don't know if her books are open, but what is she called?
Um,
Um, I forgot
I
her
forget her business name too.
the
The
artsy
artsy medium.
intuitive or
The
something.
artsy medium.
Yeah, that's what it is. So she's a medium, but like I worked with her, like I feel like I relied a lot on like readings of myself to like really assure myself that I was doing
Yeah.
like this was real. I remember doing a reading for Annie and feeling so nervous because she is really like good at
Yeah.
what she
Yeah.
does. And I was like, like I can't do this. It's so scary. But I did pick up on people. She was writing like a book about a specific celebrity. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it out loud, but like someone really big in her story came
Yeah.
through, this like doctor. And I was so scared. Like I second guessed myself so much. Now I like don't have this like pretense of what it should look
Mm-hmm.
like because I think a lot of people, it's not a therapy session, but it's the comfort of a therapy session and the safety of a therapy session. And we do go deep, but it's really like all about you. I'm not really there to like channel different people in. It's like someone's going to come through because of what we're working on to release whatever's there, right? Like something's coming up because it's therapeutic in a
Mm-hmm.
sense to you to in your spiritual journey. So I think that's why I even became a therapist, to be perfectly honest, was because I needed that skill to make people feel at ease and to do really deep healing that you can't do in a therapy session because it's ancestral, it's past
Mm-hmm.
life. People are going to come through, and I can't tell someone in a therapy session, hey, your like great grandma's here and she went through a really horrible thing. You have a past life where you were
Right.
being strangled. Like, you can't tell someone
Yeah.
that, like, so I feel like the tools of that come into play because I will say almost everybody cries when they come
Yeah,
because
it's a
it's some sort
release.
of
Yeah, it's
release.
a big
Yeah.
release. And I think like the letting go of what things should look like, I think is like a really like big thing. And I think that's also was like a really big
Yes.
theme for both of us because I think that's also gotten
Yes.
me here too, right? Like it's like thinking that I had to do kundalini, thinking that I had to look this way,
Right.
thinking it had to be structured this way, and then being like, no, no, this is how I do things. Like I feel like for you, it's so interesting because like the reason why it's safe and cozy and feels like a therapy session is because of you. Like that is the energy that
Right.
you bring to it, right? Like, and so
Right.
that's you. And unfortunately, like it's hard to really communicate those unique things that are
Mm-hmm.
about really the person, right? Because like everybody brings their own unique flavor to healing.
Right.
Energy workers like forget Reiki, forget Kundalini, forget mediumship. Like it really matters about the person that's channeling the energy through, right? Like it really depends on the person. And I really believe that like everything is source and everything's connected, right? We're just like kind of pulling in different things. And so like that's because of you and your energy, and you're taking it and you're transmuting it into something that's safe and cozy, and you're actually helping them to decipher it, to kind of like break it down. Whereas like a medium might just tell them, but you're like actually taking it
Right.
and being like, okay, this is what you do with this. Like you have this information, this is what you do, and this is how it applies to your day-to-day life, which I think is more helpful, like
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's a deeper healing aspect,
yeah.
like integrative, like what you said. And also like a lot of the skills of therapy apply to like this kind of
Mhm.
work, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's and honestly, like I didn't learn any of this in therapy school.
Right,
Like
right.
in my social work school, it was like I personally think most therapists are channels,
Mhm.
and I like said it to my therapist this week. I'm like, you're channeling right now, by the way. Because things pop into your
Yeah.
head that it's not like a theory you learned. It's
Mhm.
because you're so open and you're able to heal someone in that
Mhm.
way. So it's more like it's not my training as a therapist, it's that I was a therapist. Like you learn to allow things to come in and look at a situation in a certain way. Right? So I think the really good therapists are usually channels. They're open. They're probably mediums talking to people. They just have like no
Yeah.
idea, because there are so many times I'm like, what I just said to that person didn't come from me. I have no idea
Yeah.
where that
Well,
came
yeah,
from.
and that's the claircognizance, and I feel like that goes for a lot of different things. Like, I think that goes for creative
Right.
people. I think that that goes for
Yeah,
writers. I think that goes for so many
absolutely.
artists. Like, I think that goes for so many different people, like, where they are channeling and they don't even realize it, right? Like, they're getting downloads and they don't even realize it. And I see that all the time. And I do think, like, I mean, yeah, on the other side of it, like, I think there's a lot of people who are doing this work who are bringing up trauma, and they are not equipped to walk people through it,
Right.
to deal with it, to help them,
Right.
get through it, and they just bring it up, right? So they bring all this stuff up to the surface. And Kundalini is actually a good example of this. And I think this is also why like I really was trying to like figure out, I'm like, this isn't exactly what I do, because like people have like can get a lot of anxiety from having a Kundalini awakening, right? And I fought against that for a long time.
Yeah.
I have never had somebody have that kind of reaction from a session with me, but people have had like, they'll be like, oh, I had this major Kundalini awakening, and like I had psychosis, or I had this like crazy thing happen. Like I've read about these things. And the reason for that is because the person doing it was so aggressive and so intense, or something really aggressive and intense happened that caused it to open. And then there were no tools and no to help integrate it, right? So in that kind of environment, which is why like, it hasn't happened in one of my sessions, right? Because I'm like, I'm giving them the support, or that I'm sending them to you. But there's a lot of people who are bringing shit to the surface. They're opening stuff, they're like activating things, and then they're leaving the people to deal with it with no words, no nothing. Kundalini activations, they don't talk at the
Right.
end, like they just were like, tell me about your experience. And
No.
then they like send you on your way. Like they don't give you a reading. Like they don't
Right.
say anything.
Right. But I think also some people, like I went to a breath work. I don't know if she was Kundalini, but it was like a breath
Yeah,
work
breath work
session.
too.
And they have you like journal and then talk about it. And you're bringing up really heavy things, and this person can hold it, but they're not trained in trauma.
Mhm.
Like it doesn't mean that, like, I just feel like that can feel really dangerous if someone's not trained in understanding how to help someone with trauma. And like when you're bringing up that amount of trauma, like one session, like you probably need to go to a therapist and work it out. Like there's only so much we can do, and then the appropriate person who is trained in like a trauma therapy can help you work through that, but like you do need to integrate the
Mhm.
energy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've said it to people. I don't leave people and be like, yep, that's it. I'm like, I think maybe you need to go to therapy, even just for a little bit, to work this out, because these are really deep
Mhm.
things that are coming up,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I would never irresponsibly like do that with someone and be like, okay, like I can't be your therapist if you're doing this, but I think you should go see someone.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. And people who are resistant, I think, and are open to this, I feel like maybe want to bypass some of the work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And I think breath work is a really good example, because I think for me, I think having therapy as a support while I started doing like holotropic breath work and all this stuff
Right.
coming to the surface, like I really needed that therapeutic, like that therapy support, because I wasn't getting that from the breathwork instructor. Like I was just going to breathwork. These things were like coming out, like crazy stuff was coming to the surface. And I was just left with all of it. And like, then you're like, okay, what am I? You open Pandora's box.
Doing with it.
What are you doing with it?
Right.
And, so I'm like a really, really firm believer in like, if you can get that support system, like if you can get it, from your insurance or whatever, like I know it's not accessible to everybody, but that's also why, not to like plug us, but like that's why you go see someone like Beth, so that you can go to somebody then, like, if you're going to pay for a session, you might as well pay for someone that can do both things. Like, I mean, if you can't go to a therapist and go get, a session, I mean, it's just try to find those support places and those systems.
Right. And people who won't or can't go to therapy, I will give you like I'm not going to do therapy with you, but I'll give you like things to help you cope. Like we figure out coping mechanisms for you and really supportive things, but ideally it would be good to have a space to like air that out and work through.
Yeah.
Like it's not a bad thing. It's not forever, So I mean, I like going. I've been for 10 years, like almost every week, because it helps me and supports me on this journey. I don't think I could have done it without it and been feel like I felt crazy at some point. So it was like really good for me to have,
Yeah.
I just think it's not one or the other. Like they're all tools that work together to support you.
Yeah, totally. And I feel the same way. And I think this year, especially, like, I feel like this year more than ever, I worked through feeling like a crazy person and like, being like, am I insane? And I think now, I think both of us can say, like, I think, ending this year, I think we both feel really grounded in who we are and what we're doing, which is definitely new. There's not searching, there's not, questioning, this is what it is. And I feel really like happy and exhaling to be in that place, because I haven't been in that place for a really long time. Like it took a long ass journey to get here, like really long.
Right. Yeah. And actually, now that I think of it, I think Aurora had told me initially, she's like, you need like 2 years, like till you're really like doing it. And I remember thinking, oh God, that's like forever. And I think it's been like 3 or 2.5. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I really do need like that amount of time. Like you need a good amount of time to settle into like and figure out who you are, how you do it. Like we're both people also who like would never do something the way other people do it. Like we always have to do things in our own way. I don't know why we thought this was the exception.
I don't know.
Of course we're going to figure out our own way of doing something. Like
I know.
And it's just that you don't have any sort of roadmap when it's like you're figuring it out in your own way. So it's like there's a lot of trial and error and do really stepping out of your comfort zone. I think we were really uncomfortable. And I think through that we've gained familiarity, which gave us the feeling of comfort.
Yeah.
So we can give ourselves a pat on the back for like doing the hard work and really getting uncomfortable.
Yeah, and getting out of our own way. And I think also like there is validation in like the more that you do the work. Like I really think like I do kind of like want to say, like, if anybody is trying to do this or do energy work or do mediumship or do like the more that you do it, the more that you get comfortable. people, see me now or see you now and they're like, okay, like, you're doing this and people pay you. Like I did a shit ton of free sessions. I still do free sessions like for people like that are like, going to have me out of pocket. Like I practice the shit out of this. Like I literally like nailed down. I did so much trial and error. I got so much feedback. I did so many sessions. Like I really, really like figured out my signature session. And I know you did too, like really working through like, what am I doing? Like, what do people think? What's working? What's not working? So I really do think there is an element too of like putting in the practice, like really like putting it in and working at it and being committed to it. Like I really like am grateful for the version of me that like did that, because I now feel really settled. Like I now know how people feel when they get a session. I now know that it works because people like it, right? And they give me feedback. But like otherwise I would have still been like doubting myself and nervous every time I do a session. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel that. Like I'm like, okay, I know this, you're gonna love it. Like I know it.
Right. I mean, I get nervous with certain people. Like I was so nervous with your dad.
I don't know why.
I don't know why. Maybe
like I don't know.
I don't know. I just felt like, ooh, like I don't know.
Why? Because he fought with Josh June? Because he's literally the only human that could fight with a light being?
No, it was just more. I didn't know his expectations. I like when people come to me and like book through here, I feel like they know what they're getting, right? So like there's still gonna be nerves, but I like that you said commit to it. Like I was listening to Nikki Novo's podcast and it's funny because she was like, you need like a word that represents like what you're gonna focus on next year. And immediately mine was like, because it was so interesting because it came right away and it wasn't an area I wanted to work on. She's like, you need to focus on one thing. And immediately I was like, commitment. I'm like, I need to commit. And she's like, you get crafty. And that's the crafty way of working on every area of your life. But it's the like thing of commitment. You have to commit to yourself, and for me, it's with diet and exercising. It's with work too. It's with different life goals that I want, and I think like that encompasses so much. And like even being kind to myself, like be kind to yourself, commit to that, don't fall into these places where it's easy to beat yourself up, so that felt really good. And another really amazing thing from this year, I saw this post. I don't remember if I talked about it last time, but it was like this guy being like, if your life was a movie and people were watching, what would the audience be screaming that's so obvious to everybody else but you? And it's like the person's in the cabinet, they have a knife, like leave your husband, like whatever, like the marriage is bad. It's like, what in your life would the audience be screaming about, And it was such a good way to like shift perspective and be like, where am I just like not seeing the elephant in the room? Right?
Where am I like blind? I know I listened to that one too, and I wasn't sure what my word is. I haven't come up with my word yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know what it's going to be, but something like, I don't know. I do feel like she was talking about adventure, and I do feel very like adventurous this year. Like, I think that like, I want to, like, I feel like I've done a lot of shedding. I've done a lot of healing, and like, I'm kind of like ready to like play a little bit. Like, I kind of want to like have some fun and like have some adventure and like, just kind of like, and maybe the word is play. Like maybe I just want to play a little bit, I feel like that, and do stuff that, feels like that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not that you're not going to do other things, but it's like, that's your focus of like the reminder every day of like, where do you really need work so that it like balances and harmonizes the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I think that's really helpful.
Well, I'm really excited to commit and to play in 2026 and see you guys on the other side of this winter solstice coming up and this new year coming up. And, when we come back, maybe we can do some general, I don't know, like feelings and maybe some channeling on like what we expect for the year. Since we're kind of like feeling into that. So maybe we'll do that when we come back. But everyone enjoy your holidays, whatever you celebrate, and we'll see you.
Have a happy new year. We'll see you next year.
Bye.
Bye.